She's just a girl in boots. What's she gonna do? Talk us to death? The foreman laughed as the dusty construction site crew chuckled behind him, watching the woman step out of her Jeep in a tan t-shirt, combat boots and sunglasses. The sun beat down on her unbothered face. She didn't flinch, she didn't smile, she simply stood there, stoic, grounded and still. They didn't know her name, no one asked. All they saw was a petite woman with a clipboard standing where they expected a contractor, a man, a boss, someone real. She didn't fit their image of authority, so they wrote her off in the first 5 seconds. The crew kept hammering, loading gravel, shouting across the lot like she wasn't even there. One guy even smirked and shouted, "Hey, sweetheart, coffee's over that way." The real work's here. More laughter followed, but she didn't move. She walked calmly across the dirt lot, boots crunching on gravel, and stopped in front of a half-built support beam. She pulled out a measuring device, took 3 readings, and scribbled something into her folder. Then she turned back to her Jeep, pulled out a radio, and calmly said, "Charlie Delta 4, begin rollout." Coordinates matched. Bring in Division 6 for oversight. Still, no one took her seriously. They kept working, louder now, trying to provoke her reaction. One of the workers turned to the others and said, "I bet she's one of those TikTok veterans. Got boots, no battle." But then, the ground began to rumble. It started faintly, a deep rhythmic thunder that shook loose dust from the scaffolding. Heads turned, tools stopped clanking, and from the horizon they appeared. 4 military transport vehicles rolling toward the site, flanked by a Humvee and 2 black SUVs. Within seconds, the mood changed. Men straightened up, hard hats came off, phones dropped. The foreman blinked in disbelief. The vehicles pulled up in a tight formation. Out stepped a team of uniformed soldiers, real soldiers. Decorated, composed, and walking straight toward her. The lead officer approached the woman and saluted. "Major Taylor, Division 6 reports present and awaiting directive." Every jaw on the construction site dropped. The woman who had been mocked, dismissed, and ignored now stood at the center of a classified inspection operation. Major Elizabeth Taylor, combat engineer, 4 tours, 2 citations. Oversight command for military-civilian infrastructure projects. And today, she was here because the site had failed 3 federal compliance checks. Checks she'd authorized. She turned to the stunned foreman. Her voice was calm, precise. "Your foundation is 2 inches off grade. If poured today, it would collapse under tactical vehicle weight. This isn't a civilian oversight anymore. It's a national security issue." She handed him a sealed document. "As of now, your project is under federal supervision. All crew members will clear the site until structural re-evaluation is complete." The foreman tried to stammer a response. I didn't know who you were." She looked him dead in the eyes. "That's because you didn't care to ask." Silence. The same men who laughed just minutes ago now watched as she walked the site flanked by military engineers, pointing out structural faults, compliance errors, and overlooked hazards. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't gloat. She just led. One by one, the soldiers called her Mom. One by one, the workers stepped back in shame. Later, as the vehicles prepared to depart, a young worker, barely 20, approached her. He had laughed earlier. Now his voice shook slightly. "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't know." "You were in charge." She paused, then smiled, not condescending, but kind. "Maybe next time you don't wait to find out who someone is before you respect them." He nodded, eyes low. She climbed into her Jeep, radioed back a full report, and drove off ahead of the convoy. That afternoon, her name wasn't trending on social media. There were no viral clips, no breaking news. But on that job site, and every site her team visited after, the phrase "girl in boots" carried a different meaning. One not of dismissal, but of quiet power. Because sometimes leadership doesn't come screaming through megaphones or pounding fists on tables. Sometimes it walks in quietly, clipboard in hand, boots on gravel, and reminds everyone who actually built the ground they're standing on. Before we wrap up the story, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to hear. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button.